Welcome back to another episode of Raul's World of Synths. I am Raul. Today we're going to be going a little bit further with the A111-1 VCO number 2. If you were with us in the previous video, you saw us kind of demonstrate some of the features of the exponential FM inputs of the A111. We saw CVs going into here, as well as a LFO, I believe we did, for some vibrato, and then did some audio rate modulation using exponential. So this time we're going to be talking about linear FM and getting a listen to what that sounds like. But let's talk about how this type of FM is a little bit different than what we had with exponential. So with linear FM, that's the second type that's available on this one. We have a dedicated CV input right here. And you can use technically, low frequency CVs, or you can use audio rate. One of the advantages of using the linear FM input with voltages or audio rate is that the voltages are going to be proportional in pitch, not octaves. This is actually going to produce a slightly less amount of inharmonic content in your output. It's a very kind of more tonal sound overall. If I try the same experiment that we did in the last video, hopefully you were here. Let's look over to the side over here. I have the A155 over here on the side, generating some notes that I'm going to be using to trigger the A111, going to our quantizer down here, and then that is being output over to our A111. You can see right here. So I'm going to take the output first, and we're just going to start with a sine wave. And then I'm going to patch it into our filter right here so we can hear what that sounds like. Okay, so this little pitch sequence should sound familiar if you saw the last one. And so now let me take our modulation oscillator. I'm going to take another sine wave. And just so we get the full effect, let me bring the linear FM input down and then patch into the linear input. And I'm going to bring this up slightly. You can kind of hear it right about there. That's kind of at a very minimal setting. And so what's actually happening here is the sidebands are more in tune with the original carrier oscillator. Now you can also bring it up if you want to hear the maximum sound of this. And the higher you go, more kind of broken up your sound can get. So let me go to about right there. And then we'll do the same experiment we did last time. I'll just shift my modulation oscillator first down one octave. And let's go back to the center. Let's go down, up one octave. Let's bring it back up. And then we're back kind of in that middle level that we were before. And if you weren't with us in the last one, let's just kind of compare what it sounds like going into the exponential. So there's just our standard pitches going into our A111. Now patching into the exponential. You can see it's just a little bit harder to detect where your pitches are. They're still in there somewhere, but it's like the sidebands are kind of muddying up the roadway, so to speak. So let's hear the linear input again. So you can kind of retain a more tonal sound overall when you use this kind of audio rate input. Now, just as an experiment, let's do like we did before and just experiment with a few different waveforms. So let's do a triangle wave. Not a huge change there. I'll try adjusting this just to a very small amount. That does, I think, sound quite different. Let's try sine wave. That's subtle. Let's try rectangle pulse wave. Bring up the input a little. And then finally, let's go into the saw wave right here. I'll just experiment with a couple settings there. Okay, and there you have it. Just a simple audio rate demonstration of linear FM with the A111 and a second VCO acting as our modulator. Hopefully you found this useful and got a good sense of sort of the difference in sound of the linear FM type sound that gets produced when you patch an audio rate signal into the linear FM input. If you didn't catch that last video, go ahead and check it out. It'll give you a fairly lengthier kind of demonstration of the exponential audio rate frequency modulation of the A111. For the next video, I think what we're going to do is take a look at some of the sync capabilities of the A111. So hopefully you'll stay tuned for that and keep on patching out there.